finger guns. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with a magical readathon. I am so excited. It's time again for the O.W.L Readathon. I am stoked. I did this last year, so if you guys have been following me for a while, you will have seen a video very similar to this last year. This is a magical readathon that is put on by G from Book Roast, so I will leave her announcement video down below because it'll explain it way better than I will. But basically, this is the O.W.L version. There is a Newt version later on in the year, but this would be your O.W.L examinations that you would take if you were in the 6th year of Hogwarts. Each subject has a specific challenge that goes along with that, and depending on what subjects that you complete in your O.W.Ls, those are the ones that you would be taking later on in the year, aka August, when you would be doing your Newts. There is a slight difference this year, as in G went all out and made a booklet that you can find in the description of her video, where she has basically broken down a bunch of careers and the owls and the Newts that you would need if you were to go in said career. Now there are 12 challenges overall, so you can just go in and do all of those 12 if you want, or you can pick specific ones based on a career. It's totally up to you what you want to do. I personally have a book for every single one of these challenges. However, I have picked a career, so I have some that I'm working more towards and ones that I'm going to be prioritizing over others. The goal is to finish all 12 by the end of April. Who knows if that's gonna happen, but we'll see. I think I planned a little bit better this time like I did in the Newts. So I'm just gonna go in and talk about all of the books that I have chosen, and then I'll go into the ones that are very specific for my career later on. So stand by for what my career will be. The first challenge is the Ancient Runes challenge, which is to read a retelling, and so I have chosen Eligible by Curtis Sittenfeld. This is a modernized retelling of Pride and Prejudice. I've had this on my shelf for a very long time, so I'm excited to finally get around to this. It kind of includes a game show and a dating show, so I'm really intrigued to see how this is. Oh my gosh. So there are over 180 chapters in this book. Now they're all like a page or two, so I'm thinking that will help me get through it a lot quicker. But I'm really excited to see this take on Pride and Prejudice. I haven't seen anything like this before. And Pride and Prejudice all day, every day. So like, who's complaining here? So the next one is your Arithmecy, and that is to read a book that has more than one author. So I am choosing My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodi Meadows. Now this is a take on Jane Grey, who was queen for a whole like 9 days or something right before Mary and Elizabeth in England. And I've never read anything by them, but from the description, it seems like they're going to take the story of Jane Grey and twist it a little bit to be what they want. The next class is Astronomy, and that is to read a book with star in the title. So I decided to go with Star Crossed by Barbara D. Now this is a middle grade book. This follows a girl named Maddie who is involved in her school's production of Romeo and Juliet, and she seems to be having feelings for the girl who's playing Juliet as well as other boys. So she's confused about what that means, and at the last minute the Romeo drops out, so she ends up stepping in as the Romeo. So I'm really intrigued to see how this author is going to introduce this sexuality in a middle grade book. So I'm really intrigued to see how this is going to go, because I think it's really amazing that they're already introducing these in younger books, and I love that so much. The next class is Care of Magical Creatures, and that is just to have a land animal on the front. So I am going with The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. This is a very teeny tiny graphic novel that came in Owl Crate. I want to say it was either February or March. I honestly can't remember. February sounds right. But there's a bunch of little land animals just hanging out, and the art is gorgeous, so I'm really intrigued to see how this is gonna go. The next class is Charms, and that is to read an adult book. So I'm going to be reading Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I'm getting my Jane Austen book of the month included in this TBR. It makes me really excited that I was able to include the book that I was reading for this kind of reread slash reading of all of Jane Austen's novels that I've been doing for the first 6 months of the year. And this is the next one, so I'm glad I could include this, and I'm very excited. The next class is the Defense Against the Dark Arts class, and that is to read a book that starts with the letter R. And so I have chosen Radical Hope, Letters of Love and Dissent in Dangerous Times. Now this is a collection of basically letters, and I don't really know much beyond that. It's by a ton of different authors, and so I'm just gonna go in, and I chose this one just because it is a bunch of letters, so I will count it if I read at least one, because I do have such a large TBR. So this is one that I might finish it all, but I'll be okay if I finish at least one or two in here. So the next one is Divination, and that is to read a book set in the future. And this one's not really set in the future, but it involves time travel. So I'm gonna count that. And that is Here and Now and Then by Mike Chin. Now this follows a man named Ken who is traveling from the future of like 2142, the year 2142, and he's now in the 1990s, and his mission, whatever it is, basically he's stuck. And so it's 18 years too late, and he's already has a family and a kid, and his rescue mission and his rescue team shows up to bring him back, and for them it's only been a couple weeks. And he's like, oh, well, you know, it's fine, but apparently he has a family in the future as well as in this past that he's traveled to and has been stuck in. So, who knows? I'm really intrigued to see where this is gonna go. It's set in the 1990s, but because he's from the future, I'm gonna count it, because the other one I was gonna use was Obsidio, and I finished that one already, so I can't use that. So this is the one I'm gonna go with, and I'm really intrigued to see how he's gonna handle these two families. The next class is Herbology, and that is to read a book with a plant on the cover. So I have chosen Legendary Ladies by Anne Shen, 50 Goddesses to Empower and Inspire You. Now if you look like super closely, look, there's some plants. It counts. Basically, this is just a collection of a bunch of different mythology people, and I'm so intrigued. Not only does she like learn about all this and you learn about every single person, she's also has drawn them, and I think these drawings are gorgeous. And also I love mythology, and so I'm really intrigued about this because it's from a ton of different like parts of the world, and they all do something different. Like there's some that deal with creativity and manifesto, some that deal with love, some that deal with power, protection, reinvention. I don't know, I love it so much. So the next challenge is the History of Magic, and that is to read a book that has been out for at least 10 years or published 10 years ago. So I am choosing the very first Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, depending on which copy you have. Now I did say that this year I wanted to reread all of the Harry Potters, and it's April and I haven't even started yet, so we really need to get on this. So if I put it in this TBR, I'm gonna do it. Or so I tell myself. I need to get around to it. So, we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed. The next one is Muggle Studies, and that is to read a contemporary. So I have chosen The Lover's Dictionary by David Leviathan. And this one I got from the Y'all Fest. I think it was November when we went. And it literally is a dictionary, and as you read, it describes a couple, and I love that idea so much. It's so different and interesting, and I just... The next class is Potions, and that is Next Ingredient, aka a sequel. And so I am choosing The Wicked King by Holly Black. Yes, I know, I still haven't read this. I don't know what's wrong with me either. I've been so excited for this for so long, and I haven't had a chance to like sit down and actually read it. So I'm hoping by putting it in this TBR, I will get to it soon. Very, very soon. And the last class is Transfiguration, or a book with sprayed edges or red on the cover. And I kind of did both. So I'm going to be reading Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I finally need to get around to this. I finished Six of Crows in February, I want to say. But it has sprayed edges, and the sprayed edges are red, and it has a little red line right there. So I feel like this makes me very happy. I absolutely adored Six of Crows, and I've been putting off reading the second one just because it does fit one of these prompts, and I'm ready to dive into the sequel. And we have come to the end of my TBR, and I will tell you now what career I've chosen. So I was debating between like, I think 3 different ones, and I finally narrowed it down. I finally decided to be Metal Charmer. So I'll be reading these 5 books plus 2 others. Now that is Crooked Kingdom, The Tea Dragon Society, Eligible, My Lady Jane, Radical Hope, and then just 2 other subjects of my choice. These are the ones that I'm gonna go for first because these are the ones that I have to do, and then based on whatever time I've got left, I'll go from there. I'm gonna be a metal charmer, guys. Yeah, I probably took this way too seriously. I went in and looked at like the characteristics for each one and if any of them actually fit me, because there were some that I really liked, but then they were like, has a great memory, and I'm like, that is not me. So I think this one is a really good one for me. So I'm really excited about this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am so stoked. If you can't tell, let me know if you guys are doing the readathon, and let me know if you guys have chosen any of the books that I have, and maybe we can buddy read. That could be cool. Let me know down below what you guys' thoughts are on all of these, and that is about it. All my social media is down below if you would like to follow along, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!